You're watching Arkansas Sports Nation on Z42.
Welcome back, guys. Well, it is championship eve when it comes to this year's state title games, and here to celebrate with us, one of our favorite high school gurus himself, Jim Harris. Thanks for being here, Jim.
Thank you, Jason. I am excited.
I was just going to say,
it's my favorite time of the year.
Exactly. This is the greatest time of the year when it comes to high school football. Let's talk about tomorrow night's matchup, 5A, Batesville versus Camden Fairview.
Well, 6 teams coming this weekend to Warren Memorial. It's fantastic football. Camden Fairview finally with a shot to take the title without Greenwood standing in its way. I'm really good friend, longtime friends with their head coach, Buck James. So I've got a little personal. I'm not against Batesville by any stretch, but I really have wanted to see Buck break through. Greenwood's always gotten in their way. You know, they've knocked on the door. Batesville has surprised me. They've got through a lot of tough tests. Now, if Batesville had the few things fall their way, teams get upset, and they just happen in this final, I would think Fairview would, you know, probably have the advantage.
Right,
but
they had to get through PA last week.
Exactly. Both of these teams have played hot teams and knocked them, you know, and survived. They're both survivors. They're both ready to play. They're playing their best ball. It tells me it's going to be a really great football game, another close one. I just got to think that maybe the experience Fairview's had coming that close 2 straight times, and then making the final another time against Monticello when they were real young. I think Fairview might have the edge, but it's going to be a great game.
Let's go to another great game. How about Bentonville and Fayetteville for the 3rd straight time for a 7A title?
Isn't that amazing?
It's crazy.
They play 6 times in 3 years. I mean, it's like, you know, now when they meet in the regular season, they're going to see each other in the playoffs. I told you a few weeks ago, North Little Rock's going to have to get through Fayetteville to make it. It really disappointed me. I really wanted to see Bentonville play North Little Rock just because Fayetteville and Bentonville played
so many times.
And I mean, North Little Rock gave a great game.
It was a wild one, wasn't it?
I just wonder if now they're playing their best ball, if Fayetteville isn't ready again for the challenge to knock Bentonville off like they did last year. And last year, remember, they had lost to them 41-6 and won it
in
by
the regular
1
season.
point.
They went on to win the championship.
But you know, this is when you want to be playing your best ball. And this is when Austin Allen looks like he's at his sharpest, and you know, maybe they're healthier than they've been all year. It's going to be a great, great football game. And even though it's 2 Northwest Arkansas teams, I would really hope that Central Arkansas would show up and see the game.
Now let's talk about your alma mater, Pine Bluff Zebras.
Okay, this one's really
Greenwood,
interesting.
6A.
Yeah, Greenwood's won a lot of titles, but in 5A. Now they move up. Pine Bluff has been in the final 3 years ago against El Dorado, but weren't able to break through. Pine Bluff hadn't won a title since 1995, but I think there's one thing about this football team that's very similar to the 90s, the years in the 90s.
Yeah.
Great defense. Look what they did to Jonesboro last week. Shut them out. They're playing their best. They're playing the best defense of anybody in 6A. And I'm always of that belief, like in baseball, good pitching beats good hitting. I think defense is going to win this one out. I think Pine Bluff is going to come through. But again, this has all the makings of being one of those 24-21 kind of games that keep everybody on the edge of their seat to the bitter end.
Defense wins championships, right?
I think it does.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you,
That's right.
I'll tell you, cannot give up on Greenwood. 2 years ago, those guys were down to Camden Fairview with 5 minutes or so left in the game, down 14 points, and before you knew it, they were ahead by 1, taking one of those championships I was saying away from Buck and Camden Fairview. And then last year they met in the semifinals, same kind of thing, down in Camden, down 3 touchdowns, and Greenwood came from behind and denied Fairview a chance to make the championship. So 6 great football teams playing their best ball this weekend.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about some of the smaller classes who are in the semifinal round. And that'll be Highland and Boonville in 4A, along with Prairie Grove at Stuttgart. Who do you got going this week?
Stuttgart's going to win theirs. I think Stuttgart's the team of destiny, so to speak, although Prairie Grove's playing great. Then Boonville and Highland. Boonville we had up near the top of 4A in the preseason. They've been there before, but everybody seems real excited about the way Highland's playing. Maybe the home team gets it this time, and you'll see Stuttgart against Highland next week at Warren Memorial.
Okay, let's take a look at Class 3A. It's down to Prescott at Glen
Oh,
Rose.
that's a fantastic matchup.
Right, and Fountain Lake at Harding Academy.
And well, it's too bad those games aren't here. You
Right.
know, for semifinals, they're so good. Both those games could be championship games. I think Glen Rose gets through. We expected them to be at least second in that division. And let's see, what was the other one? Fountain Lake is on the road at Harding Academy. Normally you'd go with the home team. I think Fountain Lake and Glen Rose are due to meet again, just like they did in the regular season, and play for the state championship.
I like it. Last but certainly not least, in Class 2A, we've got Mineral Springs at Bearden and Walnut Ridge Junction City.
Well, we had Mineral Springs up high. They've got a great running back, and they've got a lot of speed. But I've been waiting 3 years for Junction City and Bearden to get back in the final again. They had a fantastic final when DeFonte Lowe's quarterback of Bearden. I really think we're going to see that league represented with both its teams again, Bearden against Junction City next week. So I'll go with those two guys.
A wealth of knowledge as always. Don't forget, for plenty more from Jim Harris, you can read his stuff at his new website there. Tell us a little about sportinglifearkansas.com.
Well, I want to just thank John Davis and Simon Lee for putting this thing together and putting it together quick, because as everybody knows, Arkansas Sports 360 went dark there about the middle of November, and all of a sudden we're back up here with the site. I think we're able to provide you everything you got at ArkansasSports360.com, but with more. I think this site is going to be much more diverse, a lot of all the way across the board with college football. Of course, the Razorbacks will be up there, #1, Arkansas State, all those, but we'll have a lot of high school coverage, and I think look tomorrow night, because we'll have the Greenwood game against, I'm sorry, it's not Greenwood, it's Camden Fairview against Batesville. We'll have that covered, and the biggest story of that game isn't on the field. It's up in the press box. Kyrie Neal, as a sophomore, he was stricken by a strange disease that left him paralyzed. He's been paralyzed for 3 years. He'll be up in the press box rooting for his fellow seniors at Fairview as they go at it again. What a story he is.
And you guys are releasing an article?
I will have something next week on Kyrie being there again at the game, and how much this city has bonded around Kyrie Neal. He would have been a great football player. Terrible situation, but he's able to enjoy the game tomorrow night with fans, friends, and family.
And we'll look for that story on sportinglifearkansas.com. Bud, thanks for swinging by, man.
Thank you for having me.
All right,
I really
enjoy the
appreciate
weekend,
it.
Straight ahead, some Trav fans are not happy these days, and now they're taking action. Show you why and what they're planning next on Arkansas Sports Nation.